started the pastime of glorifying Krishna and spreading Krishna's name. So then he says, oh, my dear brothers, listen, I'll one day become an extraordinary Vaishnava. That means even Lord is hankering to become a devotee. Amare dekhiya ebe ye sava palaya tahara yoena mora guna kirti gayam. So you are running away from me. The day will come when you will sing my glories and qualities. Those who are running away from me today will chant my glories and qualities tomorrow, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. Because it's going to manifest the pastime of a devotee. When Krishna sees Radharani is serving Krishna and experiencing more bliss than Krishna, then the desire comes. What is that bliss which Radharani is experiencing more than me? Krishna is always competitive in nature. When Narsimadeva is licking Prahlad Maharaj is experiencing more bliss. Because that is Vatsalya Rasa which is shown by Narsimadeva to Prahlada. Then thinking, what is the thing which Bhakta Prahlad is getting? Oh, he is getting the parental love. Even I also want that. Then, because as Narsimha, he is not having any parents. Pillars are his parents. So now he is thinking, even I also want to relish this Vatsalya Rasa. Appears as Rama and experiences the Vatsalya Rasa. So like this, Krishna is always having this competition. Competition that why others are relishing more rasa than me, even I also want to relish. When Krishna sees Radharani relishing more rasa, more bliss in the service, when she's serving Krishna at that time, even Krishna also wants to experience that. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears. Krishna appears in the mood of Srimati Radharani as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Eteka baliya Prabhu Chalila hasite ghare gela nija shishya ganera sahite. So Nimai smiled after speaking this and then returned home with his students. Yei mataranga kore Vishwambhara Raya ke tane janite pare yadi na janai. Who can understand the pastimes enjoyed by Vishwambhar unless he reveals? So it is not with our mundane intelligence we can understand the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is only when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reveals his pastimes we can understand. He namate bhaktagana nadiyaya vaishye sakala nadiya matta dhana putra rase. So in this way, the devotees resided in Navadvip, which was filled with people intoxicated by wealth and children. So at that time, Nadia was intoxicated with pride, with people having pride, because they were all very knowledgeable, very rich. That is the reason why Advaita Acharya calls Krishna, please come, remove this intoxication of pride, wealth, children. Shunilai kirtana kare parihasa keha bole sabapeta pushi bara ashram. As soon as the people heard the devotees' kirtan, they taunted the devotees. Someone said, this is just a means for filling their stomachs. So the ascetic people, they can never understand, or the person who has so much of pride, they can never understand the activities of the devotees. So these people were puffed up with their pride. So they were not able to understand the simple pastimes of the devotees chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So they used to taunt them. Oh, good way of filling their stomachs. Being induced by material knowledge, all the residents of Nadia were maddened by the material knowledge. All the residents of Nadia were maddened by the affection for their wives and children. and the accumulation of material education and wealth, and thus they were averse to the service of Lord Hari. They had no attachment for hearing the glories of the Lord, nor did they realize the great necessity of chanting the glories of Krishna. That is why they neglected and derided the service of the Lord. They considered Hari Kirtan, which is meant for the service of the Lord, a means of filling the stomach for those engaged in fruitive activities. So there are people who criticize devotees. They think that devotees are just beggars. They have taken this Harinam as an instrument to fill their stomach. There was a pakka artistic person. They also visit temples. Huh? Don't think that they don't visit temple. They visit temple to criticize the devotees. These people are also artistic people only. One who goes to the temple but always criticizes devotees. Do you think Lord is going to accept them? They are just concerned about darshan. Oh, hame darshan le liya, darshan. But there also, they don't understand the personal form of Krishna. They never understand. The personal form of Krishna can be understood only by the association of devotees. But if they criticize the devotees, then how will they understand? So that is why technically, because they are puffed up with the pride of having a lot of wealth, the family members, they are considered atheists only. So they don't have any attachment for hearing the glories of Krishna. What is the use? Because only by hearing one develops Shravanam, only by hearing one develops a love for Krishna. But here they don't have any love for Lord. They just go for formality. Even they also want Krishna to prove that they are the best. But they don't know the form of Krishna. They just visit. There are artistic people, they come to criticize the devotees. Keha bole jnana yoga eriya vichara udhater praya nritya ye kona vyabhara. Someone else used to say, oh, see, they have given up all the cultivation of knowledge and they're just dancing like a madman. What kind of behavior is this? Speculating on impersonal Brahman is called jnana. The impersonalists conclude that this jnana is the goal of life. Objects that are used as ingredients for the sense gratification of conditioned souls who are averse to Krishna are called Vishaya or sense objects. To remain indifferent to such objects or to restrain one's mind from these objects is called yoga. Now here Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur very nicely explains the things which are used as for sense gratification, they are known as Vishaya Vastu, sense gratification, sense objects, Vishaya Vastu. And what is the meaning of yoga? To remain away from such sense objects. Now, people who are following the philosophy of monism consider merging into Brahman or merging with the Lord as the ultimate goal of life. Their sadhana is also based on impersonal Vedanta and Ashtanga Yoga Shastras. The devotional service of the Lord, however, never produces such abominable and unpalatable temporary deceit. The restlessness that is found in persons inclined to the service of the Lord is not due to sense gratification. But since the impersonalists and the yogis are situated on the platform of narrow-mindedness, they are unable to understand the endeavors of the Lord's devotees. So here, devotees are not interested in such impersonal jnana. Where service is not involved, what the devotee has to do there? So the persons who are inclined in sense gratification, they are also restless. The persons who are involved in the service of Krishna, they are also restless. But that restlessness is not due to sense gratification. They're always eager to please Krishna. For that, they take up variety of activities. But since the impersonalists and the yogis are situated on the platform of narrow-mindedness, they are unable to understand the endeavors of Lord's devotees. So this impersonalists, nirvisheshavadis, shunyavadis, nirvisheshavadis, and these Ashtanga yogis, they are narrow-minded. Kripanaha, narrow-minded here refers to they are kripanaha. Karpanyataha will never make a person understand Krishna. Kripana means is a miser. He's got the wealth of knowledge, the wealth of intelligence, but he is not using that wealth of intelligence to understand Krishna. That's why we have a verse in Bhagavad Gita 2.7. Very clearly Arjuna says, Karpanya dosho pahata svava prachami tvam dharma sammura cheta yashrayasya tishtitam bhuhi santanve shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. Very clearly Krishna says, Karpanya dosha, this is a dosha. Narrow-mindedness is one of the dosha, one of the disease. He has the wealth, but he doesn't want to give the wealth. Like if you ask a miser person, please give some wealth for temple construction, he will say, I don't have money. Always the answer will be, I don't have money. Then how do you have money for buying your car? How do you have money for buying your house? So this kripanataha means miserliness. Now you have got a human body, you've got human intelligence. Then why not use in Krishna's service? Why not use to understand our constitutional position with Krishna? So that is why the person engrossed in sense gratification will never understand the endeavors of Lord's devotees. So this is confirmed in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the following words, 11.2.5 to 40. When a person is actually advanced and takes pleasure in chanting the holy name of the Lord, who is very dear to him, he is agitated and loudly chants the holy name. He also loves, cries, becomes agitated and chants like a madman, not caring for outsiders. So the devotee is also at the level of prema. When the devotees reach the level of bhava, prema, at the time the chanting is like a madman, he cries loudly. He never considers for the outsiders, what outsiders will think if I chant loudly, if I put tilak, what people will think. So all these things are not considered. In the consideration of Abhideya, temporary sadhanas followed by jnanis and yogis are not accepted by the devotees. So even the jnanis and the yogis, they also do some temporary sadhana. Now just see what a powerful statement. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur puts a temporary sadhana just to have perfection in their path. The jnanis are in the path of merging with the Brahman. For that, they have to control their senses. For that, they take up some temporary sadhana. But once they feel that they have controlled their mind and senses, then they keep Krishna aside. In the same way, to have perfection in the Ashtanga Yoga path also, for everything, control of mind and senses is required. And who can do that? One cannot do with his own endeavor. That is why they need a Lord. So they will act as if they are doing some temporary sadhana. They will wake up early in the morning. They'll also try to meditate. So all these things are temporary sadhanas. But they are not accepted by the devotees. For devotees, they consider these type of sadhanas are only for proving one's siddhis or maybe one's greatness. They know the activity is favorable to the service of eternally liberated souls as Abhideya sadhanas bhakti. This does not mean that the sense gratification in the form of duplicitous and artificial hearing, chanting, dancing, and playing instruments of the aulas, baulas, karta, bhajas, sahajiyas, sakibegis, smartas, akivadis is proved as sadhana or the cultivation of pure devotional service. So there are apasampradayas. So they also do all these things. They also dance, they play kartal, they chant. But the motive is sense gratification. So their motive being sense gratification, still sometimes their such type of chanting and hearing is sometimes considered as sadhana. Sometimes. Sometimes when it is seen that internal motives are more, then it is not considered as sadhana. So that has been given here. This does not mean that the sense gratification in the form of duplicitous and artificial hearing, chanting, dancing is approved as sadhana. It's not approved. But when they are really doing it, then only. They will not do it. Why they will not do? Because their motives is to become one with Lord. Sahajiyas, they like to call themselves as Krishna. They like to call the girls as a gopis. Sahajiya bhava, the smartas, the gativadis, sikkibekis, they are all, they don't understand that every jiva is a servant of Krishna. They like to become God. They like to prove that they are God. That is a problem. So that is why even if they write, one should chant, meditation is the means to attain the Lord. First you become the servant and then you speak. Now, as I told, I visited that Vellore, Golden Temple. That Swamiji is writing everywhere. Meditation is a means to attain Lord. But he sits with the hands showing Ashirvad. You fold your hands and sit under the seat of Lord. Oh, this happens. People like to talk many things. People like to speak many things. But when it comes to accepting the service of the devotees of the Lord, they will say, I am only God. Please give me the service. Do my padak seva. So in this way, people like to become God. They don't want to become gods. That is the problem. God apostrophe S. We are all servant of Lord. But the moment we forget this, there is a time we also like to become God. So when a person likes to become God, then so-called sadhana, so-called his speech or whatever is not going to be effective. On whom to meditate upon, if the question is asked, then they will answer, meditate upon me only. Once there was a devotee in our circle. You cannot call him a devotee, he was a Pakka Mayavadi. We had all gone to his house, he was acting to be a devotee. He did some sadhana of hearing and chanting. But then, why was he doing this? Ultimately, he was doing to meditate upon himself. I asked, what are you doing? When you close the eyes, onto whom you are meditating? He said, I have meditated upon myself. I said, how come? He said, because I have become now Vishuddha Brahman. Shuddha Tattva. I have attained that Shuddha Tattva. I am now equal to God. I and he have no difference. So that's just see, people like to do some sadhana to prove themselves as God. That's the problem. Yeha bole katava padilu bhagavata nachi bakandi bayena dekhilu patha. So someone may say, I have studied Srimad Bhagavatam for a long time, but I have never found any mention of dancing and crying as a spiritual path. What a powerful statement. Once we were in the place of Prabhu Ram, not Ayodhya. Another place is there. Can someone help me? Some seed starts. Nice place of Prabhu Ram. Ayodhya is one place. Another place is there.
Chitragupta. Chitragupta.
Chitra? No, not that place. There's another place of Prabhu Ram. We were there in that station. Ayodhya, Shri.
Chitrakoot. Chitrakoot.
Chitrakoot, yes, Chitrakoot. Chitrakoot, I don't know whether it was Ayodhya or Chitrakoot. We were in the station. And it so happened, it was written Shri Dham Chitrakoot or something. Shri Dham Ayodhya, I can say. Shri Dham was written. Then the question was, why Shri is used? I said, because when Vrindavan is there, why Shri is not used? I said, and even in the why Shri is not used? But here, why Shri Dham, everything is used. Because Maryada Purushottam Ram, naturally, when one has to show the Maryada, even for the Dham also, because Rama himself is Maryada Purushottam. So such talk was going on. Then somebody told, where it is written that surrenderance is the, by only surrenderance one can understand Bhagavad Gita. As it is written in the Bhagavad Gita, Tatviti Pranipatena Pariprashnena Seve. So there were so many challenging questions like this. Why, where it is written, where such surrenderance is given in Bhagavad Gita. Only by surrendering, only we can understand Bhagavad Gita. So sometimes people argue like this. Where is it written that by only crying and dancing one can understand, one can progress in spiritual path? Where it is given? They try to search the verses also. So like this type of atheistic people, you can say they're all atheistic only. One who puts challenges before a devotee, understand they are also atheistic. On the name of a devotee, they are just atheistic people. You say, what is atheistic and what is theism? Theism means surrenderance, simple. Theistic philosophy means surrenderance. Atheistic philosophy means challenge. So it is very easy to bifurcate. Or just atheistic means not going to Krishna. Theistic means going to Krishna. But what is the use of going to Krishna and having challenges with the devotees? So they are also categorized as only atheistic only, because they have such challenging questions. They fight with the devotees. They doubt the devotees. So here they are putting challenge. They are challenging the devotees. They are saying such type of proud people. They are challenging. Where is it given? Dancing and crying is a means to progress devotional path. So due to a poor fund of knowledge, the ass-like so-called scripture reciters with steel-framed hearts, ass-like, that's the powerful statement. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is Simha Guru. He says, such scriptural reciters, they're also reciting, but they are donkeys. Why? They have a steel-framed heart, proudly declare that there is no such instruction in Srimad Bhagavatam that devotees should cry and dance while hearing and chanting the names of Krishna. So one who does not understand the kriya, the mudra of the devotees and criticize the devotees, though they may study the scriptures, but they are all, why they are compared to donkeys? Because they will be only striving in this material world. Do you think just by reading the scriptures they will be getting the divine planets, Vaikuntha? No. They will be just toiling in this material world. All the inauspicious constructions for artificial dancing and hearing that the proud reciters and listeners of Srimad Bhagavatam exhibit in order to fulfill their mundane selfishness is not found in Srimad Bhagavatam. The transformation of ecstatic love born from the loving service of Krishna that are sometimes spontaneously manifested in the pure living entities who are absorbed in the service of Krishna, profusely mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. So artificial crying and dancing has not been mentioned. What has been mentioned is the spontaneous manifestation. One doesn't have to cry for a show off. There are some professional reciters. Suddenly they will start crying. They will act as if they are crying and they are making the public also cry. So this is all artificial. Devotion is not an exhibition. Devotion is a rasa which is relished. That is why it is Raja Guhya. Guhya means it is a secret. Like a mother and a child, love should not be exhibited. Mother doesn't measure how many liters of milk she has given to the baby. In fact, a real mother does not do so much of show off of her child because she has the fear. Somebody may put drishti. The same way, chanting is not a show off. You take the beads and you show that you are a big chanter. No. One who really chants, he will not do some show off of chanting. And one who is not chanting will do show off. They will try to do so much of show off. That is why this is a rasa which is experienced, not by any show off. Shivas Pandit Chari Bhaira Lagiya Nidra Nahi Ai Bhai Bhojana Kariya. My dear brothers, because of Srivas and his three brothers, we cannot sleep after eating. They used to accuse now Srivas. Because loudly they used to chant. They used to say, what is this? They are all chanting so loudly in Srivas Angan every day. Kirtan is to happen at night. So they used to blame Srivas that because of their loud chanting, we are not able to sleep. As a result of the pure devotees' loud chanting for the pleasure of Lord Krishna, people who were attached to sense gratification felt disturbed in their enjoying the happiness of eating and sleeping, and were thus greatly displeased. So they used to feel, actually, we are disturbed by Srivas because Srivas and others, because they're chanting very loudly and we are really not able to sleep. So in this way, they used to accuse that because of Srivas and others, they are not able to sleep. The similar thing happens even in the Bombay life also. The moment you do chanting, kirtan, at that time they will realize they have to sleep. If there is no chanting, kirtan is there, then they also don't sleep because they want to just enjoy some television programs. At that time, they will not accuse. You keep your TVs on, they will not say anything. The moment you start chanting loudly, especially in the morning, you play Shankha, and then they will say, oh, you have disturbed us. So in this way, the people, they are into sense gratification. Since Srivas and his three brothers loudly chanted the names of Krishna every night, the fruity workers who are prone to material enjoyment could not respect such pure conceptions of Abhideya. धीरे धीरे कृष्ण बलिले की पुण्य नाहे नाचिले गाइले दाका छड़ीले की हया. So is there no piety in softly chanting Krishna's name? Must one dance, chant and shout loudly? These are the problems which are faced even today also. If a devotee chants loudly, sings and dances, then immediately there are comments. Can't they do it slowly? Why they have to do loudly? Is there no piety if they chant slowly? So all these things are nothing but, actually they are atheists. For them it will not matter even if they are chanting slowly. There also they will criticize. Ordinary persons engaged in fruitive activities utilized their mundane experience to accumulate piety for their better arrangement of sense gratification. According to the logic, Kamukaha Kamini Mayam Pashyanti Nikilam Jagat. A lusty man sees the entire world as full of women. People thought that, like themselves, the intelligent, pure devotees were also accumulating piety on the pretext of serving Hari to gratify their temporary senses. Like a person puts black glasses, he will see the whole world black only. In the same way, their intention of doing anything is to accumulate piety. So they consider even the activities of devotees is only for that purpose. Being controlled by such base considerations, they thought that the Vaishnavas, like themselves, had a thirst for accumulating piety in all their activities. That is why the non-devotees who were averse to the Lord displayed a difference in opinion with the devotees' Abhideya sadhana. What is the meaning of Abhideya sadhana? Abhideya means having Shiksha Guru and learning the sadhana or method of achieving the goal of life. So that is the method. They were partial to the artificial chanting. They were partial to the artificial chanting of the holy name in a solitary place and opposed to the all auspicious congregation chanting of the names of Krishna. And thus they were misguided due to their concocted imagination. They foolishly declared that the Vaishnavas' activities for achieving the goal of life, like singing and dancing for the pleasure of Krishna, and loudly calling out the names of Krishna with love were equal or even inferior to artificial nirjana bhajana, or chanting the holy name in a solitary place. So they used to criticize. They used to criticize chanting of the holy name in a solitary place. They used to consider this to be inferior even to that also, that is dancing and chanting loudly. So in this way, they had hatred for the Vaishnavas. So naturally, when you hate someone, you will hate all his activities. So they were not having any love for the Vaishnavas, so they were not having any love for the activities of Vaishnavas also. Yei mata yata papa pashandira gana deki lai Vaishnavera karu kare ku kathana. So in this way, all that sinful atheists abuse the Vaishnavas whenever they saw them. The word samkathana refers to the disclosure of contrary feelings while profusely criticizing the Vaishnavas. Shunya Vaishnava Sava Mahadukkhapaya Krishna Bali Sabaya Kandena Urdhvaraya. So now they were going on telling abusive words to the Vaishnavas. The devotees were greatly distressed. But then they did not retaliate with the same abusive words. They just chanted Hari's name and just cried loudly. The Vaishnavas felt great distress at heart of hearing the wicked words of the fruity workers, mental speculators, sense gratifiers. Considering these people's pathetic condition, the Vaishnavas desired their eternal benefit and continually pleaded to the Lord from the core of their heart. So this is the qualification of a Vaishnava. He will not retaliate with the same abusive words. In fact, they were begging to the Lord to give them good intelligence. They were pleading Lord to forgive them. Because he said at one place Krishna can tolerate the abuses onto himself. 99 times Krishna tolerated the abuses onto himself. But the moment Durvasa abused Ambarish Maharaj, Sudarshan was released by Krishna immediately. He did not wait for a moment. So that is the difference. When a devotee is abused, Krishna cannot tolerate, then Krishna will become very enraged and he will punish them. But the devotees are so merciful, they are begging to Lord that please forgive them. Katadine ye sab dukhera havinasha jagatera Krishna Chandrakara prakasha. So how long such miserable condition will last? They used to pray. Oh Krishna Chandra, please manifest yourself to these people. So they used to pray. Till now, all the Panditya Leela you are doing, so many pastimes showing your profound knowledge. But when will you appear as Krishna Chandra? When will you manifest the Audarya, or the most compassionate Leela of yours? The devotees waited with the expectation that they would soon see the appearance of the absolute truth, Sri Krishna, within this material world. By the appearance of Krishna, all the darkness of ignorance in the material world would be destroyed. This thought gave them solace. Oh Lord, please appear. Because this material condition is very horrible. They are just abusing the activities, the bhakti. By abusing, actually, they are also degrading. They are degrading like anything. So they are praying to Lord, you please come and you teach. So such were atheistic people. Now here, this Leela, which has been spoken, because here, next line it has been told, they all went to Advaita Acharya. So that means this Leela has happened, or can say is also happening, or was happening before the advent of Nimai, even after the advent of Nimai. So even before the advent of Nimai, Navadip was having all types, this type of people, such type of atheistic people. arrogant people, ignorant people. So they all went to Advaita Acharya. So we'll see tomorrow what they told to Advaita Acharya. Okay, Hare Krishna. Any doubts? You can ask. No doubts?
हरे कृष्णा माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। माता जी, तो अभी ये जो सब बताया जा रहा है, तो अभी चैतन्य महाप्रभु का
प्राकट्य के
अवतरण नहीं
बाद
हुआ
है कि प्राकट्य के पहले है, ये आने वाला ये इसमें मालूम पड़ेगा। क्योंकि अभी सब लोग अद्वैत आचार्य के पास गए हैं। तो अद्वैत आचार्य तो प्राकट्य के पहले भी थे, प्राकट्य के बाद भी है, तो बाद में भी जा सकते हैं, पहले भी गए हैं। तो हुंकार बुलाकर अद्वैत आचार्य ने उन्हें सबको बुला लिया था, चैतन्य भगवान को बुलाया। तो ये भी हो सकता है कि बाद में भी गए हैं, तो ये हम देखेंगे, कल देखेंगे।
ओके माता जी।
और अभी भी हो रहा है, लोग निंदा करते हैं, भक्तों की निंदा करते हैं। तो भक्त क्या करते हैं? भगवान को पुकारते हैं, तो सुन नहीं पाते हैं। भक्ति की निंदा को सुन नहीं पाते हैं। स्वयं की निंदा सुन सकते हैं, लेकिन भक्ति मार्ग की निंदा को सुन नहीं सकते हैं। तो भगवान से प्रार्थना करते हैं कि इनके सद्बुद्धि दीजिए करके। ठीक है, हरे कृष्णा। और किसी का कोई प्रश्न है? We'll stop here. हरे कृष्णा।